can everybody see my screen? If somebody can unmute their mic and let me know if you can see it, that'd be great. Yeah. Okay. All right, great. So when we're working on fluency and read alouds, and I know I have a lot of very awesome dynamic readers in my class, I want you all to pay close attention to what we call or deem as the 5 P's of fluency, focusing on phrasing, punctuation, making sure that you're stopping where those end marks and commas are, that you change your voice when needed based on the punctuation. Perfection, matching spoken words to the print on the page. That simply means that you're not making up your own word. You're reading the actual word or dialogue that's there. And in the instance when you do mispronounce a word, that you just go back and correct your mistake. Pacing is really important, that you're reading at a good rate, not too fast or too slow. And performance, this is Ms. Richardson's favorite part. Performance, when you're reading like you're on the stage, I want you to feel like you are actually in the story. Okay, so this is what we're going to focus on, and at the end of the lesson, I want you all to tell me which one or two do you think I did a really good job at. Something else I want to share with you all in teens, because we're going to jump right into the quick little mistake that I need to fix on my end. So give me just a moment to do that before you all go in. Okay, can y'all see me now? I'm going to unshare. Can y'all see me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're moving on to day 2 from the read aloud. Can you all see the graphic organizer here?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to quickly just recap, and I'm going to do my text box. Recap for those who are new and didn't get a chance to hear the story. If you all can help me to fill in those who did hear the story, help me to fill in the box. We're focusing on summarizing, and when we focus on summarizing, we're going to focus on just providing the most brief and clear specific details of what happened in the story without including our own personal thoughts or opinions. Okay, so can somebody just state their name and tell me who is the main character and setting that's in this story, so I can type it in really quickly.
Aisha.
Okay, Aisha.
The main character was Camilla.
Ella. Okay, and where was the setting?
At her house and school.
Okay, thank you for that, and I'll make it
No problem.
a little bit bigger. Okay, and now we're going to move on to the problem that we did identify very early on, and we're just kind of catching the people up who didn't have an opportunity to hear the first part of the story or who are unfamiliar to know what's going on. What's the problem in the story? What happened in the story that's actually a problem? Cece? Hey, Cece, what's the problem in the story?
She turned into random stripes, random colors.
Okay. Okay, but why was that a problem? Why is that a problem with her turning into all of these things?
Because it could be contagious.
Well, they think it could be contagious, but why did they remember the principal said that she couldn't come to school?
So all the kids were getting distracted.
That's right, the kids were getting distracted with her, okay? And then we're going to go to the events. And let's start with the first main event of what happened in the story. How did the story begin? What was happening with Camilla at the beginning of the story? Someone other than Cece or Aisha, who I've heard from already, what happened in the story? Mizan. Hi, Mizan. Good morning. What happened?
I think what happened was that Camilla was trying to be perfect for school.
Mm-hmm. She's trying to be perfect for school. Okay, and what else do we know about Camilla?
She wanted to fit in with the other kids, but she also liked lima beans.
Okay. She Did anybody know that she liked lima beans?
Yes.
Who knew that she liked lima beans?
Josiah. Nobody. Me.
Josiah, you said yes. Who knew that she liked lima beans?
Oh, I thought you was talking about like us.
Oh, no, of course not. Did her classmates know that she liked lima beans, though?
No.
Okay,
No.
she didn't, right? So we know she liked lima beans. She was trying to be perfect for school. But what happened? What was the first thing that, what happened when she turned into Strice, but when she went to school, what happened?
Whatever colors they said she turned into.
Into that. All right. Did they try to get her any help?
No.
They didn't. Y'all think about that. When she was in school, the principal said that she could not go back to school because she was a distraction. So the story ended with her just going home and looking like a whole bunch of stripes and everything. The end.
No.
Oh, so what else happened? Who came to her house?
The doctors.
Okay. Docs came and tried to help, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to stop from there. I'm going to unshare my screen and we're going to continue with the story. Okay, now can y'all see me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so this is where we left off. Okay, we have the news reporters at her house. By now, the TV news had found out about Camilla, and I'm going to try to angle my computer so where you all can see the book mostly while I'm reading. Hopefully that's a little bit better. By now, the TV news had found out about Camilla. Reporters from every channel were outside her house telling the story of the bizarre case of the incredible changing kid. Soon a huge crowd was camped out on the front of her lawn. The creams were swamped with all kinds of remedies. Does anybody know what a remedy is? What's a remedy? They were swamped with all kinds of remedies from psychologists, allergists, herbalists, nutritionists, psychics, an old medicine man, a guru, and even a veterinarian. Each so-called cure only added to poor Camilla's strange appearance until it was hard to even recognize her. If you know what a remedy is, type it in the chat for me, guys. She sprouted roots and berries and crystals and feathers and a long furry tail, but nothing worked. Oh my God. Type what you know what remedy is. I see Muzan's response. One day, a woman who called herself an environmental therapist claimed she could cure Camilla. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and become one with the room. I wish you hadn't said that, Camilla groaned. Slowly, she started to melt into the walls of her room. Her bed became her mouth. Her nose was a dresser, and two paintings were her eyes. The therapist screamed and ran from the house. What are we going to do? Cried Mrs. Cream. It just keeps getting worse and worse. She began to sob. Can you all see the picture of her mouth and her turning into the wall and everything? That's so scary. Poor Camilla. At that moment, this is my favorite part. Can y'all see this page?
Yes.
At that moment, Miss Cream heard a quiet little knock at the front door. He opened it, and there stood an old woman who was just as plump and sweet as a strawberry. Oh, let me read that again and see if y'all know what type of figurative language that is. There stood an old woman who was just as plump and sweet as a strawberry. What kind of figurative language is that? Can somebody just tell me?
Simile.
Thank you. Very good. Excuse me, she said brightly, but I think I can help. She went into Camilla's room. around. My goodness, she said with a shake of her head. What we have here is a bad case of stripes. I'm going to try to angle it so you can see it better. One of the worst I've ever seen. She pulled a container of small green beans from her bag. Here, this might do the trick. Are those magic beans? Said Mrs. Cream. Oh my, no, replied the kind old woman. There's no such thing. These are just plain old lima beans. I'll bet you'd like some, wouldn't you? She asked Camilla. Camilla wanted a big heaping plate of lima beans, more than just about anything, but she was still afraid to admit it. Yuck! No one likes lima beans, especially me. Oh dear, the old woman said sadly. I guess I was wrong about you. She put the beans back in her bag and started toward the door. Camilla watched the old woman walk away. Those beans would taste so good. I'd be laughed at for eating them was nothing compared to what she'd been going through. She finally couldn't stand it. Wait, she cried. The truth is, I really love lima beans. I thought so, the old woman said with a smile. She took a handful of beans and popped them into Camilla's mouth.
Sit up straight like you doing, bro.
Mute your mic if you're not talking, baby. Oh, this is my favorite part. Suddenly, the branches, feathers, and squiggly tails began to disappear. Then the whole room swirled around. When it stopped, there stood Camilla, and everything was back to normal. I'm cured, she shouted. You look so pretty. Yes, said the old woman. I knew the real you was in there somewhere. She patted Camilla on the head. Then she went outside and vanished into the crowd. Afterward, Camilla wasn't quite the same. Some of the kids at school said she was weird, but she didn't care a bit. She ate all of the lima beans she wanted, and she never had even a touch of stripes again. If you see in the picture, there's her eating the lima beans. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again, and you guys are going to help me finish this summary. I hope you enjoyed that story. All right, so how did the story conclude? What happened at the end of the story? And I'm going to pull this up, and let's recap what events we have. We have Camilla was trying to be perfect for school. She liked lima beans. When she went to school, whatever someone said turned her into that. The docs came, they tried to help. What happened though? Did any of those things help? Did any of the things that the doctors and the experts tried to do help her, guys?
No.
Okay. Nothing seemed to work. Okay, so what happened at the end? Because we go back to our main problem. We know our problem is that Camilla turned into random stripes and colors. But how did the story conclude? How was her problem fixed? We know at the end she doesn't stay that way forever. So how is it her problem solved?
Cece.
Okay, besides Cece, I keep hearing Cece. I've heard Aisha.
Khadija.
No, not you, Khadijah. Someone else. We got Warren on the line.
Zaria.
Oh, who was it? Jazaria. How did it conclude? Help me out.
An old lady gave her lima beans.
Now, what's special about the lima beans? And I'm so glad that Jazaria is diving in because remember, she was the one who hadn't read the story. What's so special about the old lady giving her lima beans? What do we know about the lima beans, Jazaria?
Because she liked them.
Hey. And when the old lady gave her lima beans, what happened?
She turned back normal.
And what did she do after that? When she turned back normal, what did she decide that she was going to do for herself?
Tell everybody that you like lima beans.
Not just tell everybody. Remember the last page? What was on her plate?
lima bean.